Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Rslash Tales from Call Centers. In today's episode, we can hear you when you're on hold. Say goodbye to your discount. Replace my windshield right now. So, do you think you're ready to be put in the phones? Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. We can hear you when you're on hold. Say goodbye to your discount. Customer service for a food delivery service. A customer calls and says their food never arrived and it was over an hour late. I check their order number and their food is marked as delivered. I try to contact the driver, no luck. Sometimes a driver will give food to a greedy neighbor pretending to be the customer. Sometimes they leave it in lobbies of apartment buildings and it gets taken. Sometimes there's just a system error. So I gave the driver and the customer the benefit of the doubt. I asked if they wanted to be reimbursed or if they wanted the order sent again. They said reimbursed. I could have just reimbursed them 50% of their order and gone on with my night, but they'd been courteous, which goes a long way in a call center. So I decided to try and go in for the full reimbursement for them. I had to check with my supervisor to get approval for the refund, because their full order was just a little over what I can approve myself. I said I'd place them on a brief hold. Sup needed a minute, so I was waiting. That's when I hear this on the other end. She buy it? Yep. Told you this always works. It's not that same N***gare from before, is it? I hung up and called back till I got someone else. I immediately took them off hold and informed them their refund request could not be approved, and since the delivery was marked as received that I could not credit their account. Then I disconnected the call and flagged the account for fraud. They'll likely find themselves banned from the app for a week, if this is their first time, and I doubt it is, so it might even be a permanent ban. I can put up with a lot, but I have zero tolerance for fraud or racism. Good for you, that's so frustrating to hear people abusing the system like that. The abusive policy isn't the most infuriating part of that caller's behavior. I do this all the time. Working in insurance and some kid wants to buy a brand new car with a trash record. It's like $6,000 a year, but he don't seem to care. I put him on hold and I hear him tell his buddies, I just need to get it off the lot. I'm never going to pay for it. I come back with a hard no. Need payment in full. I could still give it to him, but it would create a huge headache for us, the bank, and most seriously for him. The only one ahead is the greasy sales team that doesn't care if he can make payments or not. He hates me and him, and the salespeople were talking sh*t about me, but I think I did the right thing. You definitely did. Props to you. It always warms my heart when call center employees don't let people get away with this sh*t. Nothing in life comes free. Yes, you did, smiley face. Stuff like this is why I refuse to go back to customer service. Customer service literally made me want to kill myself. I thought I just had severe depression, but it's actually really mild now that I'm working in another industry. I don't know why I ever thought it was a good idea anyway. Social anxiety, Tourette's, and a generally cynical attitude, not exactly a winning combo. Why do these losers have to make the rest of us customers look bad? Ugh. As someone who had a lot of trouble getting a resolution from one of the major delivery apps, how much do they empower you for appeasement? We called and got hung up on by a driver 13 times when trying to direct them to our job. We work in a mall, and our building isn't labeled. Then he left and said he couldn't find us. We asked nicely several times for a supervisor, and when we got transferred, the rep placed a reorder without our permission. The call was answered and hung up on, and they wouldn't escalate when we called back because we already chose an accommodation. Oh man, I drive for all the major food app platforms. I have so many questions for you. I've had a few circumstances where a customer claimed our stores were racist, so I've dealt with the opposite problem before. Though they usually sound about the same, and after speaking with stores more than a few times, I'm not always 100% certain if they're telling the truth. Like this one person said that they were threatened by the store rep and stalked out to their car, which I don't believe, but I suppose it's possible. A lot of people try to scam us anyway, so I wouldn't put it past them to fake a racism issue. I saw a manager of a grocery store following someone who was banned for shoplifting outside, even though he had not stolen anything, and slash his bike tire with a box cutter. The police came and I demanded to give a statement, and they acted out upon and didn't do anything but tell the guy he was trespassing. Wait, can all call centers do that here, you even when you're placed on hold? No, the ones I've worked at have all just had silence. Mute, on the other hand, is silent for the customer, but you can still hear them. Depends on the kind of hold, honestly. In mine, if you hear music, I can't hear you. If you hear silence, I can hear every word about me, the company, and every adorably weird thing you say to your pets. That is, unless I've taken my headset off. Mostly that's for screaming children in the background. I could have just reimbursed them 50% of their order. If their order never arrived, why would anyone accept this? I sure as heck wouldn't pay half the bill for none of the food. I wish the call center for the delivery service I work for had the guts you do. As often as we call out fraudulent customers from our store, the call center keeps reimbursing them with extravagant vouchers. Sometimes they aren't even customers, they just call to complain about our drivers. That's our first line of response, is to offer a minimal voucher so the customer can feel as though they won the exchange. If they hadn't tossed in the racist remark, I probably would have just told we would be counting a portion of their meal towards app credit, and it would appear in 5 to 7 business days just to shut them up. This isn't my main gig, so chances are I wouldn't be working when they called back to yell at me. I've read on here where all calls are recorded. Have your boss hear the recording so they will know why an approved refund was denied. Oh yeah, they're all recorded. Customers are informed of that before we connect to the call. We get so many complaints demanding a full refund that I doubt the sup will notice or care. Thanks for thinking of me and my job security though. I appreciate it. Recorded calls are only used to punish you, never for your benefit. It's like rules in grade school, never for the benefit of the person they apply to. Replace my windshield right now. I work in a call center processing glass claims for insured. I love my job and I am happy in this call center. I work from home, and the company I work for is very, very good to its employees. I have no complaints. Most of my calls are straightforward. Client has broken glass in their vehicle or RV, they call us, we process a claim, and help them get set up with the glass provider of their choice. Easy peasy. However, as we all know, there are those unreasonable sorts. I know, right? Hard to believe. It is Christmas Eve, and I get a call from someone traveling to Montana for Christmas. They are driving their brand new 2022 Hyundai Tucson. An 18-wheeler passing them on the highway kicked up some sort of debris. It hit their windshield, causing it to crack in several places, then bounced off and hit the driver rear door glass, shattering it. Very scary and quite unfortunate. FYI, for those who get so mad when another driver kicks up a rock from the road, this is no one's fault. No one can possibly do that on purpose. You yourself have kicked up rocks and dinged a windshield or two, I promise you. It's a pain to deal with, but don't curse the driver to everlasting doom. They have no idea what happened. Okay, on with my story. The caller is explaining to me what happened, and they are obviously upset. I would be as well. Brand new car, they are on a road trip, and it's nearing a holiday weekend. I begin processing the claim, asking all the right questions. They explain they will arrive at their destination in a few hours, and would like to get the windshield and the door glass replaced ASAP. In a perfect world that would be no problem. As we all know, we are experiencing a shortage of some products, and windshields are one of them. This car is brand new, 2022. There are no aftermarket windshields made for this vehicle yet, which means he must have dealer, OEM glass. That glass is on backorder. And no random shop is going to have the driver rear door glass in stock. Again, must be ordered from a dealer. I searched in earnest, knowing already what the answer was going to be. I started explaining to the customer and he started screaming at me, saying his insurance company is a POS, and he pays a lot of money, and we just don't want to fix it. I tried explaining the situation, but he was having none of it. I realized the stress he was under and I didn't take his outburst personally, but all the screaming in the world isn't going to make OEM glass available. His wife finally took the phone away from him and asked me what was going on, so I explained again. I did find a shop at their destination who could clean out all the broken glass in the back and install a heavy-duty clear plastic for them. It's called crash wrap. The windshield only had outer layer damage, so I arranged the crash wrap at no charge and ordered a windshield to be ready back in their hometown for next Thursday, December 30th, and booked their appointment. She was so kind and thanked me for my time. Took about 30 minutes, but I helped them, and that was my goal. She wished me a Merry Christmas, and her husband was still ranting and raving when we ended the call. Sorry your car is so brand new, dude. Sorry the glass got damaged. But cars can be fixed. Be thankful it wasn't worse, and that your family was still safe. I have absolutely been that wife before. Many times I've had to raise an eyebrow and say, you realize the girl you're yelling at didn't do this to you, right? Smarten up. He's always sorry, but that doesn't make it better. Great job. Sometimes it is hard to keep your composure, but I am glad you did. I work for a home warranty company. Most think it is insurance, although what we cover is completely different. I have several calls a day from people who want a brand new refrigerator because they don't want to wait a week for a $100 part to come in. Oftentimes, we'll offer reimbursement and people will still complain because they can't buy said fridge at a store. So, do you think you're ready to be put in the phones? My trainer asked me this after showing me one thing on the computer and listening 3 one-sided phone conversations. This was all the training I received, and she wanted to know if I was ready to answer calls. How am I supposed to know when I'm ready when I don't even know what questions the customers are going to ask me? I said yes, I'm ready because what else am I supposed to say? I didn't want to look bad and she made it sound like I was just telling people about their balance due. I was put on the phones and I was 110% not prepared. I didn't know how to look anything up and I had to put customers on hold so many times. I'm better now, but I spent the whole first month expecting to be fired. That's not enough to even know anything. No, you weren't ready. I bet they are losing over half of their new employees. Something similar happened to us, but we were in training for 2 weeks. After the first few days on the phone, most of us were considering to quit. Same. Our training was supposed to be 2 weeks long, but they put us on the phones after 5 days, and it was a sh*t show at first. Half the people who were being trained quit then and there. That is so crappy. At least it was a bunch of you so you could commiserate. I was the only new hire. My trainer actually snapped at me 2 weeks after I started, "You're not getting it. You have had more than enough training." I was probably very close to being let go. She is a nice person, but she absolutely does not know how to train. I'm so scared of experiences like these as my first day at work, and first day working, like working. BC, I don't have experience, will be on January 3rd. I'm freaking out. Feel free to reach out with any questions. I've been in call centers for 4 years, and did training for quite a bit, so I'll be happy to answer any questions I can. Hey, friendo. I've been working at my job for 15 years, and I've been a trainer for a majority of that, and am even a certified instructor in my field. It's also my first and only job. My job probably isn't a lot like yours, it's quite a bit different from a normal call center experience, but I could probably help you out if you have any questions. Welcome to call center life. That's just how it works. No training and straight on the phones. Pretend you know what you're doing, and you'll go far. Even if you have decent length training, you still hardly learn anything you actually need to know on the phones. Multiple call center campaigns taught me that. I used to ask that to trainees as a joke after week 1 of training. They didn't actually go on the phones for another week, and I was sitting beside them helping them when they did. I let my trainees listen to my calls for nearly a week before I ask them if they want to try outgoing calls only. I wait another week for incoming. WTF? That's poor training. Yes, tell me about it. I listened to maybe 3 two-sided conversations, and in the middle of one she took me off the call and finished it herself. When she got done, she said I have no idea what that person wanted. I didn't even get to see the come-out screen to see what she was looking at in the person's account. It's just absolutely bonkers. This seems pretty standard, TBH. My training was 3 days, trainer took 3 calls, asked if I had any questions, then threw me on the phones. My first call was an angry person, whereas hers were not. LOL. Where I work, we do get remedial training if we don't understand something, so that's nice. You have to really screw up bad to be fired, like ignoring calls and going away for most of the day. My first few calls were angry people, and they got angrier when I didn't know what I was doing. I had someone call me an unprofessional bimbo. Fun times. Are you WFH? I'm finding WFH call centers barely bother to train their people. I took one in desperation back in October. 1 week of training, 3 days of which had nothing to do with what we'd be doing. I quit after a month. Second was Dish Network, and I was told when training started they'd have us on the phones week 1. I noped out of there too. I get the pay, the micromanaging, etc., but not training your people to a basic knowledge? What kind of *T is that? I'm guessing it's so people quit in droves, and they can throw up their hands and go, no one wants to work. Time to outsource to India and the Philippines. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.